What's up, DC Nation? Welcome back to another video on Batman the Detective. This is issue number 3, written by Tom Taylor and art by Andy Kuberts. So far, this series has been great, and this issue, we dive deeper into the training between Bruce Wayne and Henri Ducard. Issue number 3 begins initially in Paris, France. Henri Ducard shot in the chest, bleeding to death. Batman runs out with Ducard in his hands. He puts Ducard on the bed for nurses to carry him away for help. 4 shots, 2 stopped by a vest in the chest, 2 shots in the abdomen, 1 with no exit wound. A nurse says, "His name is Henri Ducard, 59 years old, heavy smoker, blood type 0 negative. Batman says, "How do you know the patient?" the nurse asks. We flash back many years ago at Le Café Marly in Paris. Bruce Wayne was 17 years old, currently training under Henri Ducard. A man walked up to Bruce at a table saying, "Why are you following me?" "He's nuts. He's following me, and I'm following you," Ducard says, smiling at another table. The man is shocked to see Ducard. He pulls out a gun and goes to shoot Ducard. Bruce jumps out of his chair and runs to save Ducard. Ducard can see in Bruce's eyes that Bruce has seen this before. Now Bruce stops the man and throws the man's face into the ground, knocking him out. "Beaten by a teenager, diddler. That has to hurt just a little more," Ducard says, looking down, smiling. That's when Bruce takes out handcuffs and puts them on Diddler. "You always keep handcuffs on your belt, kid?" Ducard says, crossing his arms. "Maybe," Bruce says. "Maybe. It's something I'm working on." Now that's when Ducard, he kneels down to look at his fallen foe. "Well, you saved me a bit of trouble here." Who are you working for, Ducard?" the diddler says, struggling to speak. "You'll appreciate this, diddler. I actually took this job from 3 separate agencies, who each one you locked away for different assassinations. I'm handing you over to Interpol and getting paid 3 times for the one murderous bastard," Ducard says as he walks the diddler off. Now we fast forward to later in the night, after they put Diddler away at Interpol, and it's raining. Now Ducard, he walks in the rain, but he notices Bruce behind him. Ducard asks Bruce why he's following him, and Bruce tells Ducard that he wants to train under him. He wants to learn. Now, that's when Ducard asks him, "Who sent you?" "No one sent me. I want you to train me. You're the world's greatest manhunter," Bruce says in the shadows. "That's quite the claim. How do you know? Did I win a trophy or something I'm not aware of?" Ducard says. "I know who you are. And yet I still don't know your name, kid." "That'll have to be my secret. A secret I'll pay an obscene amount of money to keep." "I like obscene amounts. Okay, maybe we can work out something. But not tonight," Ducard says, lighting a cigarette. "We look death in the face to live to tell the tale with a tidy profits. So tonight we celebrate being alive. You're buying." We shift to the next morning, and we see Bruce. He goes into Ducard's room and is like, "I'm ready to train." And Ducard looks at the time and he's like, 7 o'clock in the morning? Yeah, guys. Bruce wakes up Ducard at 7 in the morning, and Ducard responds the same way all of us would, like, "Nah, if you want to learn from me, you can't be a morning person." And Ducard tells Bruce to wake him up when it's 12 o'clock, noontime. Now we go to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah, Ducard kind of sleeps in, and he tells Bruce, "Manhunting is primarily a nighttime thing." "Why?" Bruce asks. "Because it's easier to hide when it's dark and there are fewer people awake and in your way." "Now, who did you lose?" Ducard says, sipping from his coffee. "What are you talking about?" Bruce asks. "Someone died. You couldn't prevent it." "You can't know that." "Of course I can. You have this tough exterior, but you're a way godlier on the inside than you think. And I saw your face when Diddler pulled that gun. You were scared, but not for yourself. You risked your life for a complete stranger, but you weren't just trying to save me. You're trying to undo the past. Yes, you should be impressed. I am pretty insightful. You think you could stop every bullet? I'm working on it, Bruce says, crossing his arms. I believe you. A gun can be a useful tool, kid. Yes, a lot of cowards seem to believe that, Bruce says, staring straight in the eyes of Henri Ducard. From here we see Ducard teach a lesson to Bruce, that you need to have friends, so in case you get a bad situation, they can come in there and save you. Now, Ducard then gives Bruce his first, mission, and Ducard offers to help, but Bruce is like, nah, I want to do this alone, and he has to go after this man, this ghost. And Bruce pretty much studies this man, looks into his history, he finds out about this man's family, but eventually he gets too close, and this old man knocks him out in an alleyway. Later, Bruce wakes up with a gun to his head. The old man says, I know you're awake, answer me. Are you a contract killer or do you work for the police? Both? That's when Bruce realized that he actually does need someone to come in and help him, a friend. Now Bruce spits out blood and he kind of thinks he's a goner until Ducard shows up, breaks down the door, and points a gun at the old man. The old man says, how'd you find me? I didn't. The kid did. Nice work, kid. I want to call this my finest moments, Bruce says. What? You did great, don't beat yourself up. I've been after this one for months. That's when the old man responds to Ducard saying, you know what my employees will do to both of you when they learn this. Yes, but who's going to tell them? Ducard says before shooting the old man in the face, you're a bank. Now Bruce is kind of shocked by this. He's like, why would you do this? Because we know Bruce, he has that no-kill rule. That's when Bruce turns on Ducard. He starts punching him and trying to take him down because he tells Ducard that he's gonna take him into the police for what he just did. And Ducard's like, what? You knew me before you got here. You knew who you were trained under. You knew I was a manhunter. You knew I was a killer. And I agree with Ducard here, what you talking about, Bruce? And Ducard easily takes down Bruce. I'm not happy you're making me do this, but I'm not just good at finding people. I'm also good at disappearing. Ducard says before totally disappearing, he's just gone. And that's when Bruce, for many years, does not see Ducard. Then we go to when Bruce is Batman. He has the full Batman costume on, and he has the circle logo, right? It's the Batman symbol, which is black with the yellow backgrounds. One of my favorites Batman logos, and it's 10 years ago in London. Now Batman, he goes to investigate underneath all these roads because a madman has hidden a nuclear device. So basically there's gonna be a huge explosion that can cause a lot of damage and Batman has to stop this. But he walks into an area and he finds Henri Ducard. He hears a bang. And guys, before I move on, I just want to talk about this cool image. We see Batman walk in on a dead man on the ground, this man killed, and he's just bleeding. But my favorite part about this image is Batman in the shadows. Andy Kuberts, outdone himself here. It just looks so amazing. Now, Ducard looks at Batman smiling, saying, oh hey, I know this doesn't look good. Now, Batman, he throws a batarang. Ducard starts blasting. He starts shooting. Batman avoids the shots. And Bruce then goes to attack, but Ducard slashes him with a blade to the chest. But then Batman, or Bruce, throws Ducard's face into the ground, breaking his nose. Wait, Ducard says, stopping the fights. I know what you're thinking, but I didn't kill him. Trust me, I was going to force him to defuse the bomb. I can't torture a dead man. He did this to himself when I showed up. Ducard says as Batman looks at the dead man on the ground. What are you doing here, Ducard? He says, believe it or not, people are happy to pay to stop London from being wiped off the face of the earth. Before you lose too much blood, can you defuse this thing? Ducard asks. Yes. Right. You want to get to it? Be awkward the city was engulfed in nuclear fire because we got a little too chatty. You save London, then I know a place we can get you patched up. Ducard says. Now we shift to later in this room, and Ducard, he now has his nose fixed, and Batman has his costume half off, and we see that he's patched up. That wound that Ducard gave him is not bleeding anymore. Now Ducard says, sorry about slicing you open. If it makes you feel better, you definitely broke my nose. How are you doing? I'm fine. Batman says, "You're being held together by stitches and painkillers. Not sure to call that fun." "What you doing?" Ducard says as Batman puts handcuffs on Ducard. "I'm taking you in." "You can't be serious. I watched you kill a man." "What are you going to do, hand me to the police?" Now we shift to present day. We see an older Bruce in London. The police show up at his door, and Bruce takes out all of his security cameras and all the things he was using to hide out for a while. And he knows why the police are here. They think that Bruce killed Henri Ducard when it was actually the villains of the series. The villains who are in white Batman costumes, still very mysterious. Now Bruce decides to open the door to his hotel and he puts out his hand saying, "I'm sorry, what's the problem, officers?" Now the officers handcuff Bruce and start walking him out of his room saying, "Bruce Wayne, you are under arrest for the murder of Henri Ducard." And that is how we end this issue, guys. So a very solid issue. The artwork by Kuberts is really phenomenal, and I like the story. We don't get a lot of plot development. All that really happens in this issue is that, okay, Bruce gets Henri Ducard to a hospital, Ducard dies, and then the police show up saying, alright, Bruce is the one that did this, they think it's him, and they arrest him. Now, most of the issue, though, focuses on the past relationship between Bruce and Ducard, this mentor and student. I like how Tom Taylor develops this. We see different parts in their training and how Bruce's ideologies differ with Ducard. It's very interesting and I like it. But yeah, guys, that's gonna wrap up this video. I'm overall gonna give this issue an 8.3 out of 10. I thought it was a solid issue, but it wasn't amazing. It's not the best issue in the series, but I'm still excited to see issue number 4, which is coming out next month. But you guys tell me your thoughts on this issue down below in the comments section. What do you think about the mentor-student relationship between Bruce and Henri Ducard? And what do you think about the big cliffhanger at the end of this issue? But yeah, guys, if you liked the video, give a big thumbs up. New channel, make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on my next Batman the Detective video. And yeah, thanks for watching, and peace out.